It's testing the bandwidth, and we're up.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Wiggins.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Wallstrom.
Here.
Councilmember Heckey.
Here.
Everyone is present. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to invite you to stand for our invocation, which will be delivered tonight by Henry Schaefer Jr. from Roots.
Well, hello everybody. Thank you for the invite. It's an honor to be here. First time ever at a city council meeting. So let's pray. Lord Jesus, thank you for the opportunity to be here, Lord, to be here with a lot of people that I grew up with, Lord, in the community that I grew up in, Lord. So it's a great honor to be able to pray for your presence to be here, Lord. And my heart and my thoughts for tonight is that we would be about your business, Father. And I was thinking of the moment when Jesus, you were separated from your family when you were a young man, and after a day and a half, your family found you in the synagogue teaching, and they were startled and surprised, and you told them, like, didn't you know that I ought to be about my Father's business? And I think in the same way, we too should be about your business. And I recognize there's two ways we can get things done. We can press our will, or we can press into your will. And I was just thinking about Jesus when you were in the Garden of Gethsemane, and just before the cross, and just the intensity of that moment. And in that moment, like, Father, if there's any other way we can get this done instead of the cross, let's talk about it. But at the end of the day, Lord, not my will, but thy will be done. And I pray that would be our heart, Lord. We're trained and we're wired to be about our business. But you are teaching us how to be about your business, Lord, for your business is this community, the hearts and the people and the families in this community, Lord. So I pray that you would turn all of our hearts back to this community and back to one another, Lord. And I know there's a lot of history in this room, and there could be some bad history in this room, Lord, but I pray that you would begin the process of turning our hearts back to you first and back to one another, Lord, and that we together would be about your business. So that's my prayer and my hope and the blessing over this evening, Lord. So I pray that you would fill this space, Lord, and that you would give everybody revelation and understanding, Lord, a supernatural ability to understand and to see and discern, Lord, so that we can make the best decisions for our community, Lord. So we love you, Lord Jesus. Father, thank you for the opportunity. Holy Spirit, thank you for what you do in our midst. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
And stay standing for the pledge, please.
Salute. Pledge. I
pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, we'll consider the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved with one motion if no member of the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comments or discussion are desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the city council concerning the item before action is taken. Are there anyone in the audience who would like to remove something from the consent agenda? Council?
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Let the record show it was a 4-0 vote. Audience oral and written communications. The City Council welcomes public comments on any items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Council. We respectfully request that this public forum be utilized in a positive and constructive manner. Persons addressing the Council should first state their name and area of residence, the matter of city business to be discussed, and the organization, if any, represented. Comments directed to an item on the agenda should be made at the time that that item is called for discussion. Questions on non-agenda items directed to the council or staff should first be submitted to the city clerk in written form. Does anyone from the audience have any comments before the council?
My name is Susan Schiller, and I am a city resident. I was shocked this afternoon at approximately 1:20 to witness Councilmember Ken Heckey drive by my home for several minutes taking pictures. This was an act of intimidation, harassment, and borderline stalking. And as there is no reason for Mr. Heckey to take pictures of my private residence, I consider his actions a threat to my personal security. I fear this intimidation tactic will include the sharing of the physical location of my home on social media, opening me up to potential attacks by those who oppose me politically. One can only assume this is being done because I do not support the candidates Mr. Heckey has recruited to run for city council and to push his special interest agenda. It now appears that the national political tactics, once reserved for Washington, D.C., have made their way to Tehachapi. And I am not the only woman who has been a victim of these tactics, as the Loop newspaper owner Claudia White had her residence photographed and posted on social media in retaliation for her newspaper's coverage of Mr. Heckey's candidates. This has to stop. I am speaking here tonight because the citizens of Tehachapi, the media, and fellow Tehachapi City Council members must know the level of intimidation that is being brought upon females in this community who oppose Mr. Heckey's agenda. As a matter of public record, I filed a report with the Tehachapi Police Department this afternoon, and I believe that Mr. Heckey has opened both himself and the city up to enormous legal liability. I have served this community since I moved here and plan to continue to do so. I find it unfortunate and scary that my position as an active member of this community has led me to feel unsafe in my own home because of Mr. Heckey's actions and his mob rule tactics of intimidation. I would ask every woman in this audience how they would feel to watch a sitting council member drive by their home taking pictures. And I would ask that they, with me, demand that this type of behavior stop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cliff Swazzle, Golden Hills Doghouse Saloon. This is the way we're gonna start the meeting already with a bunch of nonsense. Are you kidding? A bunch of nonsense? Nonsense. If you support the news and they report it right, I got 3 minutes, Mrs. Wade.
No,
I
right
got
now.
3 minutes.
You need to
I got
stop
3
for a
minutes, so
moment.
she's allowed to talk and I'm not?
You're allowed to talk, you need to calm down.
Okay.
Address the council,
Okay.
not the audience. Address the council politely and professionally.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir. This goes both ways. Everybody knows this is getting bad, and it's gonna get worse as it gets closer to election time. Because there's need to be change, and when there's an action, when somebody takes action on something, there's gonna be a reaction. If everybody learned how to get along, we wouldn't be here right now. I think it's a joke. This whole city is a joke. I'm disappointed in each one of you guys, tell you the truth, you know. I put $250,000 into my business here. I've never did anything wrong. And while I'm here right now, I should be taking care of my business. Instead, I'm now over here dealing with this. I hope we have change come the end of the year.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience?
Susan Forrester, citizen of Tehachapi.
Wait, no, I can't hear you, sorry.
It's very disappointing that the city council meeting started this way. Is there proof? Are we going to do the same thing in the city of Tehachapi and believe someone is guilty before proven innocent? Isn't innocence before you're supposed to prove guilt? I can go back to 2016, when I was stopped by one of your city employees, Michelle Vance, and I have proof of it. I did not come up here and disrupt a city council meeting because of the way I was treated. My car license plate was photographed, and it was run through DMV. I didn't start a council meeting this way. And when someone's character is maligned in this way, it's vicious. And there is an agenda. And I don't like the agenda as a citizen of Tehachapi. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
Sure, why not? It's gonna be a long evening. Right. Mike Nixon, President of the Tehachapi Healthcare District Board of Directors. On a lighter note, the final inspection of the new hospital is Wednesday the 17th. And if that goes well, we will get our license for the operation of the new hospital facility approximately the 19th. They said it takes a couple days to issue it. But that's the plan. 5 years ago, when I stepped into the deep end of the pool and volunteered for that position, we were 18 million short of doing 80% of the planned hospital. And we're now doing a complete hospital. We've got one of the best healthcare providers in the state operating it for the next 30 years. And it's going to open a whole new world of healthcare in this region, because it's not just the valley anymore. If you go halfway to Ridgecrest, Antelope Valley, Bakersfield, you just draw a rough line around there. That's our region that we serve. I mean, it's between 150 and 200,000 people that will be the first source of medical care and emergencies and just routine medical stuff. Surgery, having babies, you name it. That's the future of healthcare in the valley right now. So it's been a battle, but we're winning. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
My name is Satora Schmidt. I live in the city limits. In the interest of transparency, do we have an exact figure for how much this friend of the court letter is costing us?
Friend of the court. The joiner. Do we have? What are you thinking? An estimate? Only an estimate, and I can get you a hard number in the morning, Ms. Schmidt, but 8,000.
8,000?
Direct, not including indirect staff time, that would be the direct legal costs that we pay out.
Now another question on the same subject. Will we be liable for any further cost in the future because of that letter?
Possibly. That's something that we were not sure of, nor was our legal attorneys, legal staff. So we're taking a journey here and forging new ground, which is something we didn't want to do, but we have started the journey, yes.
Well, I think something else we need to consider at this time is the fact that my husband used to work for the fire department. They were often called to assist, whether in forestry land or by other counties. And whenever this was happened, that they were called to assist in some matter like that, the county was reimbursed for their time. And it was a nice amount for the county. I think that if the federal government has no right to commandeer policing services in this case, that we should establish how much is the exact amount of a policeman's time, and that we should be prepared to ask the federal government to reimburse us. Now, this is done sometimes through the Bureau and Fire Department, it's done through the city, through the Bureau of Land Management, it's done through the Forest Service, or to the Department of the Interior. Our government is so complex, it's hard to follow it through. So I think we need to establish that we will ask for reimbursement. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience?
Good evening, council. John Curry, city resident and circuit rider for California Rural Water Association. So just want to make sure, and I met with Mr. Marsh and Mr. Napier out at Public Works and Utilities, that I am funded through USDA and California State Revolving Fund. So if the city wishes to move forward with any water or wastewater projects, we can assist with everything from planning and construction applications to USDA funding. So the assistance is there. We'll also be putting together some training on some new topics and legislation that was just passed, most notably California Senate Bill 998, which has to do with discontinuation of water service and some policy changes moving forward that systems over 200 connections are going to have to facilitate to be in compliance. So we'll be putting that together. That takes effect early 2020. So over the next few months, we'll be putting together some training calendars along with the whole host of training we do throughout the state. So my territory is Sacramento to Tehachapi and east and west both borders. So quite a large area, and I assist water systems under 10,000 population. That's what I'm funded to do, and that's what I do, and here to help. So staff has my info, so if anybody's got any questions later on, I'll be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? At this time, we'll move on to number 5, Police Parking Lot Project Development Services Director reports.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. On the agenda tonight is the construction of the police parking lot. As you will recall, we have previously purchased the lot next door to the police department and demolished the shed structure. Following that, the parking lot was designed and bid. All the bids in front of you were responsive. The low bid was Nagel Earthworks for a total bid of just under $275,000. The fiscal impact, council approved a total budget of $400,000 on March and this year. The low bid with the proposed contingency budget is within our overall project budget. Therefore, it's staff's recommendation to award the police parking lot project to Nagel Earthworks in the amount of just under $275,000 and authorize the city manager to approve any necessary change orders.
Thank you. Any questions from the audience regarding this? Council?
Is this paving gonna go on this year, or is it gonna go in the spring?
Depends on weather.
No, is this gonna go on this year?
It's a 75-day contract currently, but if weather holds up, we'll pave. 55 and rising, we'll pave. If not, we'll winterize the project and pick it up in spring.
Okay.
It's a nice portion about being internally funded and not having to play Caltrans.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
George Sandy, I'm a 25-year resident. Just one question. Isn't it standard to allow up to 10% in necessary change orders? It's 15% seems to be a pretty big margin for add-ons.
We did, it's a great question, and we did increase it this time around. It's not normal, we've never done this before, but because of the short time frame, weather, and because of the small amount of contract value, accordingly, we didn't want to have to wait a couple weeks to come back to city council. I don't expect us to be in the 15% range, certainly, but we want to have that flexibility so we can continue to have the contractor work efficiently and get the project done.
Perhaps it could be written at 10% with a 5% contingency based on weather.
We can do that. Certainly.
My experience with contracts is they always seem to go to the extreme. So, thank you.
Right. We can certainly entertain that. We just want to finish the project quickly and efficiently, using the taxpayer dollars efficiently and the disruption to the neighborhood also.
I'm looking.
So can we make that amendment that was suggested, or would Tom say, no, you can't do that, because Tom's not here?
Well, yeah, I apologize for Mr. Schroeder. He had something come up this evening very late, and he could not attend the meeting. I think we can do it, and certainly, we don't expect to go to the 15%. If you just want to allow the 10%, let's just take it back down to the 10. And if something comes up, we can call a special meeting, have it at City Hall just for this purpose only.
That's,
You want to do that?
that's fine, we'll go with 10. Good point, Mr. Sandy. I'll make a motion on staff's recommendation with the alteration from 15% to 10% like we normally do for the, if there's any overrun.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show it was 4-0 vote. Police chief report, indemnity agreement between the city of Tehachapi and the county of Kern.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Pro Tem, ladies and council members. I have a pretty straightforward indemnity agreement between the city of Tehachapi and the county of Kern, which will allow us to receive some much-needed communications equipment. Each fiscal year, the Kern County Office of Emergency Services submits an application to the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services for State Homeland Security Grant Program funds. Current OES is the recipient of the grant funds, which are utilized to support and provide for the purchase of equipment related to public safety. The equipment purchased with the grant funds may be distributed by current OES to other agencies within Kern County, including the Tehachapi Police Department. Current OES submitted the fiscal year 18 State Homeland Security Grant Program application to Cal OES in December of 2017, and they were really efficient in approving it on October 5th, 2018. So it took a little while to get through, but it is through. This year, current OES will be purchasing and providing the Tehachapi Police Department with approximately 10 P25 compliant portable radios with a budgeted allocation of $57,100. This equipment will strengthen our communications capabilities within the current operational area. Kern County requires each jurisdiction that receives equipment or training purchased by the county with state homeland security grant funds to sign an indemnity agreement holding the county harmless for any liability issues that may arise from the city's use of the grant-funded equipment or training. As far as the fiscal impact, this equipment is fully funded under the State Homeland Security Grant Program with no impact to the city's general fund. Current OES really helps out these small agencies within Kern County as far as this goes. And this year we were up and have an opportunity to take advantage of this. And my recommendation is that we approve the indemnity agreement between the city of Tehachapi and the county of Kern and authorize the mayor pro tem to sign the agreement subject to approval by the city attorney. The city attorney has reviewed the indemnity agreement and approved it.
Any questions from the audience concerning this?
Yeah, hang on. Speak, okay. Speak. Real quick question, are the radios encrypted or are they open channel?
Yes, they are encrypted, and that's part of the P25 compliance.
Oh, good, that's great, thank you.
Any other questions from the audience? Council?
Motion on staff's recommendation, good use of money. 100% grant, we'll take it.
Always.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to approve the indemnity agreement between the city and Kern County. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Let the record show it was a 4-0 vote. And at this time, we will move on to council member reports. Mr. Wallstrom?
I have nothing, thank you.
Nothing this evening.
I have nothing, Madam Mayor.
Well, I'm just gonna say real quickly that the Apple Festival packed our town. And we need to thank the people who put that on. Rotary?
Linda Carter.
Yeah.
Linda Carhart, Rotary had a lot to do with it. A lot of organizations assisted. It's an amazing, it's very, very successful. And so every year it gets bigger and bigger, and we're gonna make some changes for next year in the interest of public safety. But it's a great event. It's an amazing event.
Thank you. All right, with no other business, we will stand adjourned. Thank you. Well, it wasn't 10, but it was close.